Chapter 4! Oh god, there's 4 chapters. I want to see solution. But okay, Chapter 4! I need a drink. What a great day! Yes, it's bright out today. The next morning, at 9:30 a.m., the group arrived at Port 7 and aboarded the steamboat ferry headed for the Oki Islands, the Kuniga. Watching from the deck as the Oki archipelago gradually grows closer, Magari and Monami enjoy the summer sunlight. Man, the smell of salt water in the air is firing me up. My energy is skyrocketing. I know what you mean. Monami eyes Kanade, who joins the conversation with suspicious eyes. Is the extremely handsome young man standing over there an acquaintance of yours, Magari? Oh, that's Kanade. He's our cameraman, huh? Didn't you two talk during the Yunotsu incident? Right, yes, we did. My apologies, Kanade. It's fine, I'm used to it. You know, Kanade, I gotta ask myself how a stunning Adonis like you doesn't stick in anyone's memories. This happens every time. When I was a kid, my face kept drawing attention to me, and I hated that. When I entered middle school, I learned how to hide my presence even when I enter people's field of vision. They don't notice me, that's my trick. It's like Cross from Frontier. Huh? You're like a ninja, huh? I mean, he's cute, but... By the way, Kanade, I don't see the director around here. Is he still asleep? No, he shut himself off in the business room earlier. He's been sitting there watching videos on his laptop. He can charge it there. Video now? Yes, looks like he's watching Director Ibuse and Yamagishi's old work. Well, he obviously can't watch them all, so he's skimming through them. So he's researching into his rivals. That's what he said. It should probably give him more motivation from the project. I see. I look forward to seeing how his work turns out. It should be a good stimulus for Director Ibuse. What do you do once we get there, Monami? We don't mind you staying with us, and if you've got somewhere to go, we can take you there with our car. Thank you, but I won't be getting off at Beppu Port. I'll be going straight for Hishirua Port. Huh? So Director Ibuse isn't in Nishinoshima, where we're all getting off, but in Nakanoshima? No, Director Ibuse's villa is in Nishinoshima, but we'll be using Nakanoshima for the actual shooting. So we'll need to go there through some of the possible sites and at least let them know we're there. Oh, that sounds hard. Once I'm done with everything, I'll be taking tomorrow's ferry to Nishinoshima. I'm sure I'll be seeing you again on the scene. I hope you'll let me join you for a tour of the island then. We'd love to. I'll let the director know. Ah, the ship's announcement informs that they've arrived at Port Beppu. Beppu? The coast of Shibujirima, we're drifting behind Magari and the others. We should be getting ready to get off soon. Right. Let's go tell the director to get ready. Alright, Monami, we'll be parting ways here. Yes, I hope you have a nice trip. Way back at Monami, we bid farewell with a smile. Magari and Kanade go into the ship. Blah, 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 blah. I'm hungry and I'm tired. I want to make tacos. I'm making tacos tonight. The sunlight's too bright. And when his group disembarked on the port in his van and decided to gather on the wharf. The time was almost noon. The island is blessed with clear weather and the sun shines its rays down mercilessly on the group. That's because you stay shut in the whole time watching videos. What's those bleary eyes of yours? I really wanted to check out Director Ibuse's work again. I'd watched most of his films once before, but... Well, being motivated is a good thing. So where are we headed next? Nishinoshima has a lot of promising locations for us to scout. I narrowed down some prospective spots, so let's take a look around here. Here, I made a list. Take it. Magari accepts the note from Yagumo and looks at the prospective places scrawled onto it. The moment she saw it, Magari feels something click into place. Director, this is... the places we saw in that film. The footage was pretty low quality, so it was hard to see, but I wrote down the places I could recognize. And his Sukiatari Cafe is... That's not related to the film, but it's apparently a local hangout, so we should be useful for gathering information. Oh, I see. Roger. Kanade, as always, you handle the camera. The trio eagerly get into the van. Well, let's not start at the cliff. That just seems depressing. Yorihime Shrine stands in front of the beach known as Squid Bay. It's a unique shrine with a distinctive appeal in the area up from the first torii to the front being built into the water. This place was in the third film too. I can understand why they wanted to use this location. But look at the sea and this pretty forest all around us. This is such a nice place. I wish I could see the sights around here a bit more normally, you know? Oh, excuse me. Ari looks around at the surrounding forest as she speaks before letting out a sudden screech. What's wrong? Squid! Huh, squid? Whoa. Everyone follows Magari's gaze and claims in surprise. For whatever reason, ornamental modeled after 6-foot-long squid were hanging from the tree here and there. This is scary! Fake squids are scary? Yeah, this is what they call a surreal sight. Even with surrealism, you can't only go so far. It's like they're hung corpses dangling from the trees. I'm like really scared. You are such a baby. I was going to say something else, but I decided not to be that vulgar. Legend speaks of how the goddess Yorahime dipped her hand into the water. The squids, overcome by her beauty, coiled around her hand. For that reason, decorations like these are put up around the shrine's premises, but the sight is so surreal the trio can't help but stare. Yes. Squid. Squid in the tree. That's an arena, right? Yeah, they say the Oki classic style sumo is popular around here, so there's arenas around the nearby shrines. They hold night matches too. That's cool. Can outsiders participate too? Huh? You think you can combat in sumo? Well, I like it, and I was undefeated as a kid. For real? Are you talking like that so you can sound like a sumo wrestler? No. Okay. The front shrine is designated as a tangible cultural property. The main shrine was built in what is called the Myojin style and has stood solemnly, its coloring showing the many seasons it has endured. It feels like a temple that looks like this will grant you twice the blessings. Well, anything else we need to look at? Wherever I look, all I see is squids. Now I feel like eating calamari. You were that scared of them and now you feel like eating them? The front shrine's side is a lane leading to the grove that grew nearby. Exploring a forest of squids sounds kind of interesting. Okay. Can I just gaze excited at the arena set up for Oki Sumo? He really does like sumo, huh? Maybe I should challenge him to a match or something. But he's always carrying a camera, so his trunk's probably really developed. He might actually be really hard to beat. As Yagumo ponders this, Kanai looks back at him, visibly confused by the way he's staring at him. Alright. Guess we're going to the cliff? Wow, there's so many cows and horses running around. Pastures spread out around them as their van drives the mountainous road. To Magari's road, all around them countless horse and cattle are grazing the grass, but contrary to serene scenery, Yagumo's face is turning dark and severe, and having notices Magari's anxious. Oh yeah, you're going to where your sister committed suicide. Eventually their van pulls over the parking lot that offers them a breathtaking view of the Kuniga coast and a lungful of salty air. But further down the road, Yagumo could make out a familiar figure standing in the distance. Sakuya? For whatever reason, Sakuya stood at the end of the cliffs, standing opposite a man and shouting him for some reason. As they approach the two hurriedly, Yagumo hears her words traveling with the wind. Stay away from me! This is my only choice now! Calm down. Your sister's death wasn't your fault. Her sister? Are they talking about Riho? What's this about her death not being Sakuya's fault? What are they talking about? Yagumo approached while straining his ears to listen as more pained words from Sakuya reach him. No, it's my fault! If I hadn't told him where she was! Because I did that, my sister died because of me! That man threatened you. You can't keep blaming yourself for that. Wait, don't do anything reckless. Sakuya slowly steps back towards the tip of the cliff. At that moment... Sakuya! Huh? Sakuya freezes in place at the sudden intruder to their exchange. Yagumo pulls her back from the tip of the cliff as hard as he can. Question mark? Sakuya falls back and the thicket from the forest is being pulled. As she sits there, Yagumo shouts at her in between ragged breaths. You? What were you thinking, you idiot? What? What was that just now? Sakuya raises her feet and brushes off the dust and leaves clean to her dress, and then shouts back at him. What are you getting mixed up over? You stupid excuse for a brother. Huh? Funakoshi and me are just acting out a suspense drama. Huh? Acting out a suspense drama? Yeah, it'd be obvious you thought about it for longer than 2 seconds. Huh, wait, but... Sorry, sir. There seems to have been a misunderstanding. My apologies. You're Funakoshi. Yes, I'm Shichiro Funakoshi. Oh, I see. So that's what happened. Yagumo felt all the energy drain from his body. Saying that, just that, he sinks down to the floor. No, to the ground. I see. So you were her brother. Can't blame you for panicking then. My apologies, Director Yagumo. I just thought I'd see how the two of them handled dialogue. Oh no, I just jumped to the wrong conclusion. I'm sorry. You sure did. You just burst into the scene. I wasn't sure what I should do. No, well, you say that, but you said that here, of all places? What do you mean, of all places? Well... Sakuya didn't know. This was where her older sister plunged to her death. Sakuya was in primary school when Riho committed suicide, and neither Yagumo nor her parents told her any details about her older sister's death. I mean, you were yelling in a place like this, anyone would be surprised. But I mean, I'm at a spot like this with Funakoshi. Anyone would want to try doing this. I get what you mean, but... Can the two of us have a minute? Sakuya informs Yamagishi and Funakoshi and takes Yagumo aside where no one can hear them. What is it? Well, what? Do you want something from me? Let me tell you, I'm completely broke right now. It's rare for you to ever actually have money. That's not it. I was just thinking about what happened earlier. Rintaro, did that remind you of Riho? Huh? I don't really know, but I was just acting out a scene from a suspense play, and the killer dies by suicide. That's why I was yelling like that. So if I did something to remind you of her, I'm sorry. That wasn't sensitive of me. Sakuya bows her head apologetically, and Yagumo regards her with a bitter smile. No, it's been 10 years. I'm not sensitive about it. It's nothing like that, so don't beat yourself up over it. He thought there wasn't any point to spurring any needless guilt in Sakuya. Sakuya's expression turns relieved as Yagumo's explanation. That's good then. Besides, you were a tyke when Riho died. You hardly remember what happened. Yeah, it's like there was this atmosphere in the family that made it feel like talking about her was taboo. But really, all I know is that Riho was really sick. Riho was terribly ill. Sick? What the hell? I've never heard of that. Yagumo regards Sakuya's words with apprehension. Yagumo avoids talking about Riho at home following her death, and so it was the first he'd heard of it. No, I just heard Mom and Dad talking about it. I don't really know the details myself. They said Riho had an incurable disease and wasn't going to live long. An incurable disease? Now that you mention it, I remember her going to the hospital a lot all the time. But still, she was sick like that? Riho and our parents didn't tell me anything. Yeah, I think they didn't want to make you worry. Yeah, I guess so. Was that what drove her to suicide? But assuming it was, why was it filmed like that? Yagumo begins sinking into contemplation, but is drawn back to reality by his sister's anxious face. Well, it's all behind us now, no point being hung up over it. Yagumo manages to speak with a bright tone. We're both at an important time in our lives. We're going to make our dreams come true. We should focus everything we've got on that. I'm sure that would make Riho happy, too. Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, let's make the most of this chance. So he says, despite being the most hung up about the events of 10 years ago. With that contradiction in his heart, Yagumo returns to the group with Sakuya, hiding the bitter irony in his heart. Okay. I did something a bit excessive. I didn't mean to make you panic like that, Director. Oh no, I was the one who jumped to conclusions. Don't let it bother you. I guess anyone would feel like doing that if they stood on the cliffs with you, Mr. Funakoshi. I'm sorry about earlier. I'm a director for this project, like Director Yamagishi. Okara and Kanade introduce themselves after Yagumo. Funakoshi regards them with a pleasant smile and exchanges polite greetings. I've heard rumors of you from Mr. Isagami. I've been paired with Director Yamagishi, but I hope you make a fine film too. Yes, we'll certainly do our best. It's an honor to hear the Emperor of Suspense himself say that. I've always seen you on TV, but seeing you perform in person on a scene was the best. Ah well, when you think of precipitous cliffs, I'm the first thing to come to mind. I've seen many precipitous cliffs across Japan, but I can confidently say that the Matengai Cliff is a top-class precipitous cliff. Yeah. Really starting to feel some distillerized fall setting is around the world's precipitous cliff. What? I'm losing myself, sorry. So how's it going, Director Yamagishi, Sakuya? It's going great. It's my big chance, so I'm doing everything to make the best of it. Right, this project's a huge chance for both of us. Right, so we both gotta focus and give it 110%, right? Yeah. Focus on it, huh? To do that, I gotta solve the mystery of what happened 10 years ago. Still, I don't think I'd meet you as soon as we get here. Sakia did mention you'd be in the area when we sent me her email. Well, this island isn't very large, after all. Actually, did you know that if a car passes by, the people living on the island can recognize who it belongs to by sight? Wow. So they know we're outsiders just by looking at our car. I'd imagine they would. They might be keeping a keen eye on us. Mr. Funakoshi, you were part of the project 10 years ago too, right? And there were people who didn't know about the pilot film around them. Yagumo tries to speak as casually as possible. Yagumo knew that this involvement with the pilot film could mean that Funakoshi would pretend he doesn't know anything, but... I'm surprised you knew. Yes, I participated in it 10 years ago. He admitted it was the careless smile in a way that was almost anticlimactic. The director was pretty harsh, so I did my best to play the role at the time, so I was sad to see it get suspended. In that regard, I see this project as a second chance. I see. I heard there were 3 films in total, so I was shocked to hear it was shelved. 3 films? No, I hear it was suspended after only 2 films. The director, Akasawa, passed away suddenly while we were finishing up filming for the second film. All the hmms. The squinty eyes and the Akasawa? You don't mean... Yes, director Issei Akasawa. What? Issei Akasawa directed those films? Director Akasawa? You mean the representative of Japan? The director that made The Seven or Samurai and Be Cautious Boy? That's the one. He was as great as the rumor said, but since he was old, he had a stroke in the middle of shooting. It was tragic. So after that... No, like I said, that's where the filming was cancelled. Then the second film was shot without the director, though. The staff disbanded after that. I see, so that's what happened. That means someone else shot the third film. So between that and the mail that dealt with Riho, I'm guessing it must have been Yugensai Kumashiro. No, okay, not this one. But really, I never imagined they got someone as big as director Ikasawa on a project 10 years ago. It was just a drama project, but they really put everything they had into it, huh? Yes, the budget was very generous. They remade the entire building just so it could serve as a set. That doesn't happen too often. Oh, you mean the Capricious Hall? Right, that's what it was called. Well, that was just director Ikasawa's particular way of using the budget. One legend said that in one shooting during his prime, he said he didn't like the way a mountain was shaped, and the next day it was flattened out. Wow, that man was like a giant. Well, since he was that great a man, he must have started preparation for the third film ahead of time. Yes, that's what I heard. Apparently the third film was supposed to be set here on Nishonoshima, and he bought a villa just for that. Just so many hymns. I'm curious. I want to know the answers now. They said that in between filming for the second film, he would try to come up with ideas in that villa. Ibuse, though, is in that villa, isn't it? My brain is telling me Ibuse is involved. A villa, huh? Buying a villa just for shooting one film feels like something from another world to us, huh, director? Yeah, it's like heaven and earth compared to our current standing. Still, I didn't think I'd... Oh, no, okay, we're good there. You can exit now? Okay, bye. Bye-bye. Now gets in the van alone and sinks into contemplation as he holds onto the steering wheel. Doriki Kasoa had a villa around here. I wonder if he still exists. If it does, it might find a hint about the third film there. Yes. The film. The place looks like a great spot to relax in. It's great. It's great! It's like coming over to play on a friend's house. It's probably the idea. The tables and sofas inside the store lack any sense of consistency and simply allow one to recline as they please. Yagumo could imagine how this relaxing home place would be a gathering spot for locals. I like the atmosphere of the store. It's relaxing. Oh, hello there! Thanks for stopping by. This isn't a business, though. It's more of a free space. A free space? Yes, the Shugetsudo was built some 4 years ago. The locals use it as a workshop or a tourist attraction. 4 years ago, so it's pretty recent. Yabo came over here hoping that since it was a gathering spot for the locals, he'd be able to gather some information, but if that's the case, asking about the filming from 10 years ago is going to be hard. Are you all from the TV station or something of the sort? Yeah, something like that. We're a film company, to be exact. I'm surprised you could tell. You kind of feel similar to the folks that arrived yesterday, so I thought so. Is that... Do you mean Director Yamagishi? Yes, that was their name. They gave me a calling card with that name on it. There was an actor I'd seen on TV with them, so I was pretty surprised at first. She likely means she could... I'm assuming her gender. She likely means Shichiro Funakoshi. As the shopkeeper speaks happily, Yagumo decides to speak to him, her, it, them. Is that a guy? I mean, it could be. 10 years ago, there was a filming for a film here. Do you know anything about that? 10 years ago. I'm sorry, I don't think I heard anything of it. Right. Judging by the third film's footage, it was likely shot with the bare minimum of people. Director Akasawa's death was probably part of it, but if that's the case, it makes sense the locals wouldn't know about it. Anything else, or do we leave? By the way, I've heard Director Issei Akasawa had a villa in the island. Do you know anything about it? Yes, I've heard about it. They even call it the Akasawa Gosho. Apparently that's important. The Akasawa Gosho? That's a pretty grand name. Well, I don't think it's the place, the real name. It was probably named after the image of the Kuroki Gosho. Oh. The Kuroki Gosho was a place the exiled former Emperor Go-Daigo lived in. The palace's remains are still on Oki Island. Director Akasawa's villa was likely christened with the same name as a nod to his moniker of the Emperor. Is the Akasawa Gosho still intact? It should be. Someone even lives there every now and then. Huh, but Director Akasawa passed away. Maybe his family inherited the place. And are still using it. Oh yeah, that makes sense. But if that's the case, the building should still be mostly intact. Maybe there's some hint about the film there 10 years ago. Or reverse that. With that thought in mind, Yagumo swallows nervously and asks the shopkeeper, where exactly is Akasawa Gosho? Do you happen to know? Not at the exact spot, but I hear it's near Yurahima Shrine. Alright, thank you very much. You were a huge help. Don't mention it. The shopkeeper probably didn't understand why he was being thanked, so... Okay, I guess it's a guy. But it looks like a girl. I should not assume gender by their looks. He was being thanked so abhorrently. He replies to Yagumo's words of attitude with a confused glance, or it's a girl in one version of male in ours, I don't know. Because it looks like you're all... Okay, you look like you're wearing a dress. And I don't say guys can't wear dresses, I'm just saying... usually if you're doing like in these kind of games, usually if you get like a transgender or cross-gender, it's more obvious. They kind of like to make them kind of flamboyantly stand out. So, Yurahima Shrine, okay. It's the unique shrine, we know. We walked around for a while, but I have no idea where this Akasawa Gosho place is. If only we could find some locals that know. We're basically fumbling in the dark here. Yeah, it's Akasawa Villa, so I thought there'd be something special about that would make it easy to find. I guess I was wrong. I guess we'll just have to go to the old-fashioned way and look at the nameplates. Yeah, for now, let's take a little break. Look at the squid again. Okay, don't look at the squid again. That didn't help. Swimming in the forest of squid, something interesting. Well, it's not here then. Ooh, it just cracked my sternum. Yagumo's group have a late lunch at Beppu Port. They relax under the pleasant sunlight and sea breeze. Man, that turban shell curry was delicious! Yeah, I thought it'd smell like fish, but turns out it smells fine and tastes great. I guess trying out new things is always important. People, try new things. Apparently, in the past, meat was hard to come by, but they had plenty of turban shells. It has this catchphrase, makes sense on the island. It takes a pretty unique common sense to eat turban shells like it's nothing. They were talking enthusiastically about the turban shell curry they had at Conceal, a restaurant near the Beppu Port. Suddenly a voice speaks up behind them. You there, were you filming just now? Hmm? They turn around to see a policeman looking at them. The officer likely finds Yagumo's evasive tone suspicious. He roaches the trio, a severe gaze in his eyes. What is it? May I ask you a few questions? The officer flashes his badge. It has his name, as well as the words Urago Police Department Officer Yoshimasa Matsushita. Officer Matsushita. Yes, from the Urago Police Department. Now, I've seen you walk around with a camera. Is your filming illegally sanctioned? No, we're from a filming company. We're collecting data before the filming officially starts. In which case, right now your filming was not legally sanctioned, yes? Yes, we're doing location scouting for a drama we'll be shooting for Shimane TV Zone. You can check with them if you want. Shimane TV, you say? Masui looks fixedly at Yagumo's group before continuing. Well, that's fine then. We've just had trouble relating to filming recently. Make sure you get a permit if you're filming in the streets. Understood. We'll get a road closure permit when it's time to start filming. Good. Make sure you get permission when filming indoors too. No guerrilla filming. It's trouble for the locals. Yes, of course. Nodding at Yagumo's amicable response, Matsushita leaves. Once out of sight, Magari parts her lips in relief. I always panic when cops get involved. Dealing with police is the most troublesome part of filming, but when it's time for filming, we'll get a public filming permit. Yagumo is about to finish the sentence, but then suddenly trails off. Is something wrong? A road filming permit. Right, that's it. The third film. If it was shot on this island, they must have gotten a road closure permit for the police here. And it should have the name of the person in charge of filming should be listed here. Oh! So that should tell us who was in charge of filming after director Kaso passed away. Exactly. Let's go, Magari. Kanade. Roger. Always a but I like his little I bet it's a bisu. Near Yarihima Shrine at the port area where the pleasure boats sailed, so the Uraga Police Department. This police department held jurisdiction over Nishinoshima, where the guard ship Urikaze, they maintained peace on both land and sea. Yagumo and his group were currently inside the station, arguing with the officer at the counter. I'm telling you, I just need you to let me see the road closure permit record. Why can't you show me? Because we can't just let civilians that walk into the station see things like that. Why would we even want to see that? We're working on a film project for Shimane TV. A similar project was done 10 years ago, and I want to know who was in charge of it. I'm asking you why you need to know. Stop being absurd. If you're going to insist any longer, I'll slap an obstruction of justice charge on you. Look at signs by Matsushi. But then Magari cuts into their exchange. Wait up! We're cooperating with a detective from the Shimane Prefectural Police. They're investigating a certain incident. Huh? Hey, Magari, isn't that... I'm sorry, Director. I didn't want to do this, but we'll need to use Inspector Misawa's name here. He'd prefer not to use Misawa's name for a personal errand like this one. Magari likely senses that and says this to Yagumo while bowing her head. She then turns to face Matsushita. I'm telling the truth. We can't share the details, but checking the road closure permit records are part of the investigation we're helping with. Are you really assisting with an investigation? Oh, really? Really? If you think I'm lying, ask Inspector Misawa from Shimane Prefectural Police Investigation Division. Go on, call him and check. Fine. Inspector Misawa of the Shimane Prefectural Police Investigation Division, right? Officer readily picks up the phone receiver on his desk and starts dialing. He only exchanges a few words over the phone before turning back to them. Well, it's exactly like I told you, right? Inspector Misawa is on a day off. I couldn't confirm your story. Huh? I suppose I'll only be able to check tomorrow. Come again then. What is this geezer doing? Why is he taking days off right when we need him? Yagumo and Magari were so enthusiastic that disappointment hits them that much harder. It's then that Kanade speaks to Magari. Magari, did you try calling his cell phone? Huh? I mean, during the incident in Yunatsu, Inspector Misawa gave you his cell phone number, right? I completely forgot! Magari hurriedly takes out the smartphone and opens the notebook. Or the phone book. The ringtone plays on and on, but there's no sign of Misawa picking up. The three wait impatiently until eventually, the call connects with the sound of phone's bottom being pushed. Button. Hello, it's Magari. Why did it take you so long to pick up? You're playing Mahjong? I don't care about that. Listen, we need a favor. Yeah, so it's like that. Yeah, no, please, we're begging you. You'll be saving our lives here. Apparently he wasn't going to say yes easily. Magari begs into the receiver repeatedly before eventually removing her ear from the smartphone and... Here, he's asking to speak with you. Magari hands him the smartphone with the talk still connected. 30 minutes later, sitting on the station's table are 5 road closure permit records. Misari convinced Matsushita to bring out all of the reports submitted around year 2010. Thank you, Magari. Kanade, I owe you too. I'm an overachiever. But still, it's around 2 years total, but there's only 5 records. Yeah, I guess those are all the reports. It does make it easier to find what we're looking for. A second permit was signed by an advising company. The reason listed was for an outdoor event. The event made it clear it was related to some kind of civilian matter. Okay. This permit is... Wait, it's for the film. Yagumo hurriedly checks the requester's name, only to find it say A. University Independent Film Society. Oh, it's just some university film club. Yeah, I don't think that has to do with the film. Examine the fourth report. The line listed for the reason closing the street for the purpose of filming a movie. Ah, this is it. The applicant is listed as Shimane TV's production department. Yes, there's no mistaking it. This is it. Yagumo somehow felt he was afraid to find out, but looks at the bottom of the page to see. Is it Bisu? The last line lists the name of the person in charge of the scene. What? Huh? That's Director Ibuse's name. Aha, I was right. Isaiah Ibuse, the name of someone they knew very well. They descend into a long silence. Yagumo eventually whispers quietly, breaking that silence. Magari, Director Ibuse is on the island too, right? Yes, he should be, but I don't know where. Waname should be coming tomorrow, right? We can ask her to take us there. Anyway, now we know that we have to meet Director Ibuse. Right, yes, you're right. Let's go into solution. Can we get to solution? I want to do solution. Nope. Excuse me. Excuse me. As they search for the baby part, Magari raises her voice in front of the stone monument of some sort. Huh? Isn't this the bronze statue dedicated to one of the ghosts from Shigeru Mizuki's works? Hmm? The stone monument has the words Yahiki incarnate on it, and a bronze statue next to it apparently isn't a ghost, but a god. There's a statue about Shigeru Mizuki on the Oki Islands, huh? Well, they say his real name, Mura, has roots here in Oki Islands. Wow, he totally looked like a Totori person to me. Yes, I'm sure he was. I'm excited to finish this game because I want to play Layers of Fear. The group gaze off Matengai Cliff as a salty breeze blows around them. Except... Phew, that was dangerous. Really, if it weren't for this, we could just lie down and enjoy this place. Seriously, if only it weren't for this. As the land around Matengai Cliff was dotted with grazing horses and cattle, their droppings littered the ground. A view was still breathtaking enough to make one forget about it, and so Yagumo could enjoy this relaxing healing moment. Yes, it's a relaxing healing moment at the spot where your sister committed suicide. That's very relaxing, isn't it? It was like time was flowing on its own pace here. That hackneyed expression came to mind, but it fit the store perfectly. So relaxing, let's take a break here. Is the Akasawa Gosho famous on this island? No, I wouldn't say everyone knows about it. I only know about it because a few guests have mentioned it. I see. I guess it won't be as simple as just asking locals for directions then. Okay. Back to the shrine. I'm gonna avoid any reading games for a while after this. My throat's parched from that walking around. You can have this mineral water. I bought early if you want. And lick this salt tablet. Thanks, I'll have it. You too, Director. You might get heart stroke if you walk around so long without water. Yeah, thank you. Magari and Yagumo drink from the bottle Kanade hands them and lick salt tablets. They've been going around the neighborhood looking for Akasawa Gosho, but they couldn't find it. Damn it. Wasn't this place supposed to be nearby? What's the information we got wrong? Oh, something new. Hold on, it changed. Let's see. Scary. I'm scared. Yagumo regards Magari, who whined as such while looking at the squid hanging around the nearby woods. Stop staring at them if it scares you so much. You don't have to look at them if you don't want to. No, I'm scared, but like, my eyes keep wandering. They have this weird charm to them. What now? Look at that. There's someone there. Magari's right. There's a figure appearing and disappearing between the trees. And eventually they see the figure's full form. Huh? That's Director Yamagishi. They see Yamagishi approaching through the woods, looking at them curiously. Now, talk to him. Director Yamagishi! Perhaps notice them due to Magari's call. Director Yamagishi nods his head and approaches them. Hey, buddy. Hey there, wait, are you alone? Yes, Mr. Funakoshi and Sakura went back to the inn first. I have some errands to attend to, so I'm by myself right now. Oh, really? Still, I didn't expect to run into you here. Well, my business was around here, and I was told there's this interesting shrine nearby, so I checked it out on my way back. Yagumo listens in on Magari and Yamagishi's exchange from the side when an idea flashes in his mind. Yagumo speaks to Yamagishi, hoping to confirm that. Director Yamagishi, what kind of errand was that? Oh, I heard Director Ibuse lives nearby, so I figured I'd drop by and say hello. I was surprised to find out he seems to be living in the villa Director Akasawa used to live in. I was right. Oh, you mean the place they call Akasawa Gosho? Yes, that's what I heard. Apparently Director Ibuse bought it off after Director Akasawa passed away. Heck. Yeah, that makes sense. We wouldn't find a nameplate that said Akasawa. Director Yamagishi, could you tell us where the Akasawa Gosho is? I'd like to give my regards to Director Ibuse too. Sure, I don't mind. I've been taken back by Yagumo's impatient question, and he tells them the address. It was the first time I met Director Ibuse, but he really had his particular aura to him. Yeah, I know what you mean. It kind of overwhelms me every time I meet him. I know what you mean. People who make works of that quality really are different. Let's go. Time to find him. Time to beat his ass. Akasawa Gosho. Like they were told, the place was behind Urahima Shrine, standing isolated along the eastern side of the Kuniga shore. The house didn't even have a nameplate. They wouldn't find the place had Yamagishi not told them. And now? Yagumo and his group were in one of the villa's rooms, sitting opposite of Ibuse. First Yamagishi, and now you. I've got quite a few guests today, it seems. Sadly, only I live here, so I don't have anything in the way of snacks, but I could make you coffee. No, it's fine. We didn't come here to chat. Oh? There's something important we need to ask you. Something important? Well, that's a surprise. Contrary to his words, he replied with his expression not showing any signs of surprise. Yagumo, on the other hand, looks at him with a terribly stiff expression and spoke as Magari watched him with concerned eyes. Uh-oh. Max mode. Director Ibuse, there's something I need to ask you. Cutting right to the chase, I see. Let's hear it. Go ahead. I'd like to ask about 10 years ago about the drama project that preceded this one. When you pulled the trick with the ghost film to test me, you played that role of someone who shot the pilot film 10 years ago, right? Yes. Yes, I did do that. But I know that wasn't just a role you were playing. Oh, the film was nothing to do with that project. I don't mean that. I mean the actual pilot film from the project 10 years ago. In other words, 10 years ago you actually did shoot the pilot film. Me, that's impossible. I hear the director for those films was Maestro Director Akasawa, unrelated to those films. True, Director Akasawa was behind the megaphone for the first two films. The first two films? That's odd. You make it sound like there were films beside those two. Yes, that's definitely another film. The third film was brought into Shimane TV by a man called Sakio Ito. Oh. At the time, he was in charge of building the film, and he was secretly brought in a copy of it to extort money out of Shimane TV. As a result, Shimane TV bought the film off him in secret and covered the whole story up. Fact of the matter is, the third film existed. That's the first I've heard of it. It's hard to believe it happened. In which case, this film is extremely precious and rare. It's posthumous work by Director Akasawa, after all. No, Director Akasawa couldn't have filmed that movie, and that's because... Director Akasawa passed away during the closing stage of the second film's shooting. Shichiro Funakoshi was there and confirmed this. In other words, Director Akasawa couldn't have been the one to film the third movie. It was you, you bastard. I see. If Mr. Funakoshi says so, I'm inclined to believe. However, why does that mean I was the one to film it? When you take a large enough leap of logic, it only comes across as absurdity, Yagumo. So you're going to insist on playing dumb, are you? Me? Playing dumb? I certainly am not playing dumb, since I have no recollection of what you're describing. Director Ibuse, I already have evidence. Decisive proof that you were related to the third film. And it's this road closure permit. It's a road closure permit from back then, and your name is signed on as the one in charge of the scene. You said you're not related to this business, in which case, why did you buy off Director Akasawa's villa? I don't imagine Director Akasawa's family would give up the villa he left a mark on, but the reason they gave it to you was because you were part of his staff, wasn't it? And then you picked up the project after Director Akasawa's death and filmed the third one. Yes, I understand. Not a bad theory. The road closure permit. I was careless to leave that kind of paper trail. So you admit it, you shot the third film. Now to answer Yago's question, Ibuse continues with a smile smirk. Judging by your tone, I assume you've already seen the film. I did. That's why I can't forgive this. Right, so you've seen it, right. Fine then, that means my objective has been achieved. Objective? What objective? What did you make that film for? What does making me watch that thing achieve? Well, you see. I was about to say, but then freezes. His eyes then widen and he starts shivering uncontrollably. What? A red line of blood runs down from Ibuse's lips. As Yagumo and his group stand up in shock, Ibuse looks at his own blood with surprise. Eventually his gaze seems to fix on a single spot. I see. Yagumo thinks he can feel a certain serenity in Ibuse's widened eyes and expression as he whispers faintly. His gaze then settles on Yagumo. Watch carefully, Yagumo. The moment life and death intersect before your very eyes. And what you feel as they do. Watch me. And be reborn as a creator. Finishing the way, his lips curl up in a smile. Oh my. Director Ibuse. He coughs up a thick amount of blood as if vomiting it out. Oh, okay, I think the other director killed him. That's where I'm going with this. And as he spits out a large amount of blood, eventually he sinks to his knees slowly while Yagumo and the others watch him in shock.